Well, hello and welcome. And you are here. We are live. Are you not making the connections you want when networking online? Let me just see what I have here on my screen, that I am really, truly live with you right here. And yes, I am. So, if you are not making the connections that you want when you're networking online, I'm here to tell you what you can do about it. My name is Sigrid de Cast. I am the creator of Global Business Networking Live Online, where we really focus on being online live, quite different to a lot of other types of networking. And in this workshop style event, I'm going to share three key reasons with you why that might be happening, that you're not making the connections. Some of them are really obvious ones, and yet often what is obvious is not really obvious to us directly. So I want to keep this session flowing. So if you have questions or comments, do put them into the comments, and I'll pick them up after I've shared the details, after I shared about the three reasons that might prevent you from making the connections that you want to networking online. If you're watching this as a replay later on, you can also place your questions and comments into the comments, or do message me directly on LinkedIn, for example. Every question is valuable. So never think that your question may not be of value. It certainly is, because you don't know who else might have that same question on mind and is not asking it. Ask it. Now, let's get started on our three reasons why you might not making the connections that you're looking for in online networking. Now, when you're walking into a room and you're there physically, that is somewhat different to being online. But there are also similarities to keep in mind with online networking. So, the first one, think about it this way. We are all conditioned to react to visuals. And in the global world of business, we are dealing with different cultures, how they react differently. So it's a good idea to always think about the presentation of yourself, how you're presenting yourself, the words you're using. Are they universally most likely acceptable? And let me start by using an imaginary businesswoman called Anna. Anna is highly experienced. She's excellent at what she does, and she has built her business over many years. Now, she joins a networking event online because she genuinely wants to make new connections and find collaboration opportunities globally. Now, here's what happens. As Anna appears on screen, her head is turned to one side. She's not facing the camera. Why is that? Because she has got her screen and her camera not aligned. How do you feel when I'm looking this way and I'm talking and I'm not actually talking to you, but I am? How does that make you feel? Do tell me in the comments if you like. That is a big thing that people with laptops quite often have a camera put to one side. The other issue can be, and often is, experienced that the lighting is really poor. The person on screen is in the shadow, it's very dark, or they are not crisp in appearance because the darkness makes it look like the camera is out of focus to some extent. That is an overall visual impression, and it doesn't reflect the level of professionalism for Anna in our example that she actually brings to her work. You see, before she's even spoken one word, people have already formed some sort of an impression. I mean, we do that automatically. We kind of over our lifetime learn to have an impression, to have an opinion about something that we see or hear. What would your impression be when the person's looking to the side, talking to you, which doesn't appear like they're talking to you, and it is fairly dark in the room? We could go even further and deeper into visual impression on this. Another part is, of course, the background. Is it very distracting, or is it supporting who you are, what you're talking about, and what you want to portray to the world? So those are seemingly little things that do make up a big one big impression to the viewer, to the people that you want to reach in your online networking opportunity. Whatever type of camera you're using, you can change the alignment. So let me give you a number of simple things now to remedy that situation of looking to the side, a darker room, a background, and so on. I just want to give you some tips here. A camera these days, if it is not useful, the one that you have with your laptop, if that is what you're using and you are using an external camera, position it in such a way that you're always looking into the camera online so that the viewer who sees you and listens to you actually notices that you are taking notice of them. I know you're not. I know you're on the other side of the screen. You're somewhere out there. But doesn't it look better when I'm looking at you rather than looking at to the side there, for example? So find a way that you can get, if necessary, an external camera and attach it in line with your screen. Now, there are so many ways you can do that. There are many different types of tripods available that you can place a camera on. So let me share. My camera is sitting on top of my screen. If I was to look directly into the camera, it looks like this. And that doesn't look very good, does it? Because I'm stretching myself up to it. But looking at the screen, having the camera where it is, does make a difference for me and for you, seeing that I'm paying attention to you, looking at you as I am sharing my information with you. Now, another important thing I think is important, I smile. I like to show you that I'm happy to be here, that I think it's a great day and it is really wonderful, and I appreciate you being there, watching, listening to what I have to share. It happens that networkers on an online networking call get very distracted. They might be looking at different things everywhere. And I have to say that does happen to me when I first start the networking call. Why? Because I am the technical person as well as the host of the event. So I do have to make connections from top to bottom online in the various areas for bringing the live event together. But as soon as possible, I make sure I look back at the camera and I look at you with a smile. Now, you might at times in a networking event look down because you do want to take notes of something, and that's okay. But do it in such a way, and you can practice this, do it in such a way that you can get your eyes back on screen fairly quickly. Or even sometimes I write without looking at what I'm writing. Yes, it looks a bit scribbly, but it really is a way of showing your audience, and particularly if you are a networker online and you want to make the connection, you want people to know that they are important to you, make sure you look back at the screen. In the networking boardroom that I host twice a month, I take care of a lot of the technical actions, as I just said, but I still make sure these things are in place. And about the lighting, let me show something, or let me give you a demonstration about the lighting as well. So at the moment in my office here, I have two big studio lights. One of them is on right now. Now that gives a reasonably good light right now. Let me show with you what it looks like when I put the second light on. So excuse me walking out of the picture for a moment and not being visible. And back I am here, didn't take very long. So it gives an additional light from the other side, and it makes it nice and crisp looking the pictures nice and crisp. So that is how I can get around being visible, being light online so that you can see me, you can get who I am, you get a feel for what I say and what my professionalism is like, because we do make up our mind about those things. So what I've just shared is reasonably common sense, and yet we do forget about this, especially when we're networking online and you might be new to it and you are a little bit nervous being online. Think about not looking distracted, because it can be interpreted as you don't care. Do take on board those tips that I've just given you with your camera in line with your screen, reasonably good lighting, a distraction-free background. Now, I always use the same background because that is, for me, branding to some extent. It's up to you if that is something of importance to you. I always like to wear the red. That's my branding as well. So little tips here for you that really do make a difference in how you come across to the person on the other side of the camera, of the screen, and them wanting to connect with you. Now, we've used Anna as our imaginary business person. We'll continue with that when I'm coming now to number 2 of the reasons why you might not be making the connections that you would like to, networking online. When you're introducing your experience, that 30, 45, or 60 seconds that most networking events offer you. For me, in Global Business Networking live online, it is 45 seconds. Unless we have a large room full of lots of people, we may have to cut it down. But let's say 60-second introduction, who you are, how long you've been in business. Most people want to portray that they have a very long-standing way of being in business. And it is often understood that if I say, well, I've been in business for 20 years, that the listener might think, wow, that's a long time, lots of experience, this person knows what she's doing. However, let's bring Anna back in here to demonstrate what this point could also mean or be taking out there to those that are watching you, that are listening to you. So when Anna begins to introduce herself, she says, I've been in business for 30 years. Now, to her, that is an elevation of her expertise and her experience. It is intended to sound impressive. And she might have been complimented on that. Oh, you've been in business for a long time. You must know a lot. But for the listener, another question might very quickly appear, especially in those fast-paced times that we are in. The person listening after Anna says, I've been in business for 30 years, might be, what do you know about the market right now, though? Are you up to date with what's happening? Can you really help me today? Not 30 years ago. We are here right now. Now, her experience is real, but it hasn't been translated into present-day relevance in the way she's introducing it. It sets her apart from those much less long in business, but it raises the question of relevancy of her experience for many, especially if others in the room or outside watching your introduction, are much younger. They are of the younger generation. So let me firstly give you a little analogy to further make this point here. Imagine you're on a holiday on a beautiful sprawling island and you want to go on a guided tour. You know that the island has had much expansion, loads of new buildings, new tourist attractions, really great places to see. And as you're looking for a tour guide, you see one that has a sign that says he's been a tour guide for the past 30 years. And you might think, actually, in this situation, wow, excellent. I hire him because, he's been doing this for long. He should know the island. He can show me all the really wonderful, important places to look at. But then you are somewhat shocked because you see him pull out a map, a physical map from 1994. And you start to wonder, will he really know where the latest best places of attraction are? How long will it take me? How long will it take him to take me to those places with this outdated map? Yes, he's got experience. He's done the tour guiding for a long time, but is he up to date? So those are the questions going through someone's mind, could go through someone's mind and prevent them from wanting to connect with you, because that idea of, yes, you have experience and it does matter, but is it up to date? So when we are connecting the experience, the time of the experience, to the present day relevance of it, and that's what people want to know. They want to know, are you relevant in today's market? Can you help them face today's challenges and guide them to today's opportunities? Let's have a look now at some examples how to make years of experience work for you, not against you. So let's imagine Anna says, I've been working in leadership development for 20 years. And one thing I've seen time and time again is that clarity in communication determines how teams perform. Now, take that in for a moment. That's a completely different framing of her long-standing experience and expertise over the past 20 years. That is using the years, the 20 years, in a way that they really are relevant for today and for the work she is doing with leadership, with people in leadership situations. It is a completely new, elevated framing of time. Now, I'm going to give you a couple more examples of that, and it might be a little too fast to take them down right now, but you can watch the replay later on and you can stop the recording and write them down for yourself if they are of relevance for you, if you'd like to keep these and then transform them into the way it would be appropriate for you to use it. Here's another way Anna might say how long she's been in business for and why that makes it relevant to today. I've been helping businesses grow for over a decade, and what I consistently see is that visibility, not talent, drives opportunity. Another way of putting that decade into the explanation of the long-term experience and expertise. She could also say this: having worked in marketing for 25 years, I have seen how the landscape has shifted, and today authenticity matters more than perfection. Now, that's a great way of bringing the point of a long-standing marketing expertise into today, because it's authenticity that Anna now, if you're using Anna as an example, is focusing on in her marketing, coaching, education, or work. Here's another one for you. After 30 years in finance, I've seen strategies come and go. What matters now is adaptability and real-time decision-making. Doesn't that put the 30 years into context? It really elevates the person of 30 years in that field of expertise, finance. I've got two more for you. They are all slightly different, and I'm hoping that they give you some real practical opportunities to frame your long-term, your years in business or in a particular area of expertise. Here's one. Over the past 15 years, I've helped coaches build sustainable businesses. And what makes the biggest difference is how clearly they position their work. How do you like that one? And one more, last one, just to keep you on your toes and give you plenty of choices that you can implement. Over 20 years, I've supported teams through change, and the biggest impact always comes from how leaders communicate in uncertain times. Now, that really drives the point home if Anna was to use that one for 20 years in business, working with leaders around communication, for example. That really sets the scene for that long-term expertise and experience. I'm sure you can hear how that completely elevates that long time opportunity that the person, in this case, Anna, that we're using as an example, makes a difference. So, to conclude this point number 2 of why you might not make the connections in online networking that you're hoping for, instead of saying, I've been in business for 30 years, shift to saying it in, here's what I've seen, here's what I've learned, here's what I've created over those 30 years. A completely different way of positioning yourself. Now, let's come to reason number 3, the last one for this session, why people may not experiencing making the connection they'd like to. If that is you, I hope you have taken some notes. And as I said earlier, if you have questions or comments, do pop them into the comments, and I will go and pick them out and make my comments or give you answers to any questions you might have. Now, if you're watching the replay, just let me say again, you can still leave your comments and questions in comments, because I will come back and read them and give you answers. Or you can directly message me on LinkedIn is the best to reach me. Absolutely. And now let me share reason number 3 that can make it really difficult for you to make the connections that you would like to in business, networking online. If your introduction or explanation of who you are, what you do, goes on and on and on, you lose the room. You lose the room. I think people know that, and yet sometimes it's fear driving them to continue, because they might feel, I haven't said enough yet, or they might feel, I don't know if people understood it. I need to explain it a little bit more. In online networking, you lose the Zoom room, which is what we mostly use these days. And in my live streamed online networking, global business networking, live online, you definitely lose the room and the viewers outside the room. Now, we are in the room when we do global business networking live online, but we are streaming it out into LinkedIn Live. So keep in mind that you have the massive opportunity to be seen by 1.1 billion or even more today members of LinkedIn. So what is it that you do when you are introducing yourself? When you mention that and what you did before you do what you do now, and what offer as well as what you just said before, and you repeat it again, and you just carry on and go from one thing to another, people's eyes do glaze over and they no longer hear you. Let's again imagine what that would look like for our business owner, Anna, if she did that. Imagine Anna, in her introduction, networking online, keeps talking and talking and talking. She explains all the services that she offers, who she has worked with, all the industries she touches, how passionate she is, and a few examples too. And while she's trying to make sure what she says is enough, the audience is silently losing the thread. What did she start talking about? How come she's now talking about this? I don't get it. I'm going to stop listening. By the end of it, people just don't doubt that she's capable, perhaps, but they doubt that she can work with them clearly, crisply, and bring across what they need in a working relationship with her. They really simply don't know what to do with what they heard. There was too much that came from Anna. Let me use an analogy to further give you this point, to really clarify this point I'm making here. Think of watching a movie trailer. You might like the movies and you're watching a trailer. What makes you curious when you see a movie trailer? How do you decide to go and watch the whole movie? A good movie trailer gives you just enough to want to know more, to want to go and watch it. It highlights the main points of what you get to see, what the story is about. It doesn't tell you everything. It just touches on the points that the creators of that movie know the audience that they targeted the movie for will want to hear, to prick up their attention, their interest, their curiosity, and therefore they'll come into the movie theater to watch it. I think that makes it nice and clear. It is the curiosity, your curiosity for the movie and the people that are listening to you and watching you, their curiosity. Just give them what is relevant to them. And in particular, in networking online, in your introduction, when the people that you are most wanting to work with, when they hear clearly and short what your solution to what they are searching for is, they will come and want to know more. They will connect with you and they will ask you to have a conversation. Your networking introduction really can do that when you are doing it short, clear, to the point, and relevant to the people that you want to attract. You're not there to tell the whole film and go into, all the background and the history. You are there to create the interest for the next conversation with the person. So if our imaginary Anna does continue without any adjustments, she'll lose the connection to the audience every time. Not because Anna isn't good, she's got heaps of experience, she's been around for a long time, and she definitely has got the expertise. But these three small things block the connection every time. How she appears, how she positions her experience, and how long she spoke or speaks to the audience, how clearly she does that. Now, one way to test having a short, sharp, memorable introduction for you is to register to get my 3 fresh introduction templates together with a guest pass to the next Global Business Networking live online session, which will be next week. Global Business Networking live online is every first and third Wednesday for AEST, that is Australia, Brisbane, Australia time. Every first and third Wednesday. Now, if you are in the US, it'll be the day before. If you are in the UK, it'll be early in the morning of that day for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link into the comments several times. And if you are missing it or can't find it for any reason at all, do send me a message and I'm happy to give you the link to register for the 3 fresh templates into which you can create your introduction in networking when you are networking online. And you can come to my next Global Business Networking live online event and you can test it. You can see how you are presenting it and how the reaction from the people in the room and the people outside is for you. So let me see that I can just jump across here and hopefully reach the here we are. I'm just going to put that link as a link straight forward into the comments out there for you to pick up. And for those who are watching this as a replay later, you can see that or come back to me and ask me in a direct message if you like to, right here on this LinkedIn platform. So with that, I am concluding that the 3 reasons why many people are really not making the connections, not getting the connections that they really want to from online networking, why that might be happening. Those are 3 key reasons. Each one of those reasons has further layers within it, and I'm very happy to discuss those with you, particularly if you come to my Global Business Networking live online and experience it. And when we go from the live streaming back into the boardroom behind the scenes, the virtual boardroom, we can certainly talk about any of those details and reasons if you are not wanting to share them openly right here, right now. So just reminding you one more time, the 3 key reasons, I've just spelled them out for you, and I've given you some tips and practical ways of overcoming those, of no longer doing that, using those ways so that you are removing the obstacles and making the connections that you want to make and really expand your network and your opportunities globally. Now, for that reason, teaching those details and going deeper is exactly why I've created Global Business Networking live online. Do make use of that link I have popped into the comments, and I'll pop in there again. And what I'm going to do now is I'll have a look at what we have in comments, if there's anything there or any questions before we conclude this. I actually have kept time really well. So let me see what I can see here in the comments that are visible to me. So hello, Leslie, great to see you there. Hello, lovely to come in and say hello. Yes, Leslie is pointing out that there are a lot of small details that add up. So it is true, Leslie, every little thing. It's like when you use that analogy of, one drop at a time into a closed sink will overflow the sink eventually. Now, in this way of networking, the more often you appear online in networking and you are not thinking about one of these little areas here, you are adding another lack of opportunity, another hurdle in the way of people wanting to connect with you, seeing you as the true professional and expert that you are. They all come and layer one on the other and make a difference, each small one to make it a big one in the end. And so with that, I haven't got any further comments or questions that I'm seeing right now. And I think I want to keep this nice and to the point, this workshop style event today so that you get the benefit from it. And because I've given you quite a few examples on the introduction area around your many years of expertise, if that is what you have. So I'm going to let you use this replay mode and go back through that and pick out those ones that might be most applicable to you or the ones that you like the most. And if you come later, as I said, do take the opportunity and put a comment or a question in, or message me directly. And one more time, I invite you my next Global Business Networking live online. And what we do is we live stream it into LinkedIn, this professional business platform where you have that opportunity of being seen by 1.1 billion members of LinkedIn, probably more than that by now. This number comes from a search that I did. I think it's increased quite a lot since I saw those numbers. So do come to the next one every first and third Wednesday, and that is Wednesday for Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. That is time zone AEST every first and third Wednesday. I publish those. And if you are jumping onto the 3 Fresh templates and the guest pass link that I've popped into the comments, you will be notified in plenty of time to come and join us. Now, as I said earlier, for the US, that is the Tuesday, so the day before. And for Europe and the UK, it is the Wednesday early morning. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And if you have any further comments, questions, do pop them in, and I'm happy to answer them and give you some more details. Thank you for this session, for this time that I've spent with you. And I'll hopefully see you at my next Global Business Networking live online session.